Before we get started today, I wanted to point out that I have a voicemail phone number. It's a Google Voice number, 501-503-3132. That's 501-503-3132. And you can call it. It'll ring for a bit, and then it will go to voicemail. You can leave a voicemail to be put on the air. You can volunteer to read and just read a reading into your phone. You can leave me feedback, but like I said, if you don't want it on the air, make sure you tell me. So if you call in, you can leave me your name. You can tell me where you're from, where you're listening from, and whatever you want to say on the show. I am approaching the 1-year anniversary of the Sunday Stoic, so I'm hoping to hear from a few of you from around the U.S., from around the world, and to just get an idea where everyone's listening from. So this is kind of like when I call on students to talk in class. Like, come on, call in. You can call in on using your computer or whatever and dial that number so you don't have to have a long distance charge. But I have another way that you can contact the show if you don't want to do it over the phone. And that's on my website, which is sundaystoic.wixsite.com/home. I know it's complicated, but I refuse to pay for a website. So sundaystoic.wixsite, wixsite.com/home. And at the bottom, there's a contact form, and one of the buttons there says voicemail. If you click it, it'll access your microphone, and you can record a 90-second voicemail to the show. So tell me where you're listening from, your name, and maybe something about what Stoicism means to you. So keep it short, but send me a message. I want to put a bunch of them on the year episode, the year anniversary episode. And if only 2 of you reply, I'll be very sad, and I'll start podcasting about Epicureanism or something.
Justice.
All right, thanks.
Temperance. Wisdom. Courage. Applying ancient philosophy to modern times, this is the Sunday Stoic.
I know, but did you see the toga he was wearing? That thing would have been in style in like 3 BCE. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, hey there. Welcome to the Sunday Stoic. Today's episode is on judging others. And on this point, the Stoics are fairly clear. While we should judge ourselves fairly harshly and try to improve ourselves each day, we should not judge others. We can teach others, but that's different from condemning them. I'd say the Stoic view is much like that expressed by Jesus of Nazareth in Matthew chapter 7, verse 5. You hypocrite, remove the wooden beam from your eye first, then you will clearly see to remove the splinter in your brother's eye. So before we judge others, we need to perfect ourselves, and I think we're pretty far from that point right now. Wouldn't you? Let's see what the Stoics have to say. The Enchiridion by Epictetus, chapter 45. Does anyone bathe hastily? Do not say that he does it ill, but hastily. Does anyone drink much wine? Do not say that he does ill, but that he drinks a great deal. For unless you perfectly understand his motives, how should you know if he acts ill? Thus, you will not risk yielding to any appearances, but as such as you fully comprehend. The Enchiridion by Epictetus, number 33. Nope, never mind, cancel that. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 2, Chapter 1. Begin the morning by saying to thyself, I shall meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial. All these things happen to them by reason of their ignorance of what is good and evil. But I, who have seen the nature of the good that is beautiful, and of the bad that is ugly, and the nature of him who does wrong that is akin to me, not only of the same blood or seed, but that he participates in the same intelligence and the same portion of the divinity. I can neither be injured by any of them, for no one can fix on me what is ugly, nor can I be angry with my kinsman, nor hate him, for we are made for cooperation. Like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth, To act against one another, then, is contrary to nature, and it is acting against one another to be vexed and to turn away. So we start with Epictetus. Epictetus reminds us to stop judging the world around us. So we're working on that discipline of assent, which ties into desire and action like we've talked about in the past. And this sort of permeates all of his philosophy. So first things first, we don't want to judge others. And we want to comment. We can comment on others like, oh, that person is driving fast. That's okay, but what you want to do is not apply a judgment to that. That person is driving like an idiot, right? So in Epictetus' case, he says, does anyone bathe hastily? Do not say that one does ill, but hastily. So he doesn't bathe poorly, he bathes hastily. Now, I don't watch other folks bathe all that often, but back in the days of public baths, that would have been a thing, I guess. Oh, you drink too much. You're doing wrong. Well, step back and just say you drink a lot. That person's drinking a lot. Don't put a value judgment on it. And he says, because you don't know me, you don't know my story, right? You don't fully understand that person's life. And for you then to start judging them actually reflects poorly on yourself rather than on them. You want to know all the facts before you give assent to an idea. Then in Marcus Aurelius, we've heard this reading before, but it starts off, it seems contradictory. He's like, remember when you get up this morning, you're going to meet a bunch of jerks. It's going to be really hard. They're going to be really annoying. It's going to suck. But you can get through this, Marcus. You can do it. Just buck up. You're going to get through the day. It'll be all right. That's kind of how the reading starts, right? It's sort of a pep talk. You're going to run into a lot of people that are hard to work with. But then he says, but remind yourself, man, these people are not the way they are because they're evil. They're the way they are because they don't know any better. And it's up to me to help teach them. I'm not here to judge them and find them at fault. I'm here to help them. We're here to work together. So this ties into that cosmopolitan view that all humanity is family, and we're here to work together, not against one another. So to turn away from your neighbor is unjust. You must help each other out. And as a Stoic, it's your job to remember that, because your neighbor might not be Stoic, right? So you have to help them even if they're a little bit of a jerk. So this is hard because I grew up being really good at least in my head, judging others. Like, oh, look at that idiot. Oh, geez. You know, and it's sort of wired into us evolutionarily to try to rank ourselves among others. And that's something we might want to try to put a stop to if we're going to be content and happy and virtuous. Saying, oh, I'm better than that. I'm better than that. Well, start saying you're different, not that you're better, right? And stop applying value judgments to everything around you and remind yourself constantly that you're here to help others, not to judge others. And in the next episode, we're going to hear another example of Epictetus and his view of judging others as it applies to sexual relations. And I thought about putting that in this episode, but I'm going to leave it to the next one. But it's the same basic idea. Be the best moral person you can be, and don't judge others for being imperfect. You can help them to get better, but don't condemn them. So try that this week. Don't blow up and argue with someone about politics. Don't say that they are stupid for believing what they believe, right? But that they are different. They don't believe things because they're stupid. They believe things because they see it from a different perspective as you. That doesn't mean their perspective is right, and you might be able to talk them into seeing things from the right perspective. But it's also possible that they may influence you into seeing things from a different perspective as well. All right, hang in there. Stay stoic. And carpe diem.